What's up, you guys? E-Tang Skates coming back at you with another YouTube video, another review on this Dan Corrigan Powell Peralta guest model designed by board, basically pro model. This board I've been skating for the last month, and I've come to a lot of conclusions about the board, and there's a lot of things I want to tell you. Got a whole list of stuff. So skating this deck, I found it, first off, is really square. Oh yeah, RIP Mark Johnson. That sucks. Back to this deck, we got super square nose and a little bit less square tail, but they're symmetrical length and angle. So this board is a symmetrical board. Really stoked on this grip tape still. It's also a flight deck, which if you can see here, here's a couple little dingers. But the flight decks are made out of like a composite material with the wood, made in the USA in Long Beach, I guess. It definitely makes the board stronger. I noticed this deck does not chip as easy as other flight decks I've had. They definitely updated the chippiness, so that's good. But because it is a flight deck, one thing I noticed with these, they give you really bad shinners. Because the deck is like so thin, it's like the shinner hurts even more than a regular board. It's kind of crazy. Got pretty beat up skating this deck. Not gonna blame the board. Board skated really good. Favorite thing about this deck is the nose. It crooks so good. This is like the first time I've ever gotten a bigger front crook groove than back crook groove. And it's just because of this nose skating so well. I would almost just get this deck again just because of how well it crooks alone. The flight decks are super stiff. That's one crazy thing about these. Oh yeah, this deck graphic, because it has swords right here, if you run rails, it's pretty easy to line up your rails. That's one thing I've never heard anybody mention. It's nice and easy to line up your rails. And they almost hide with the graphic. By the way, this graphic is super sick. One of the things about flight decks and composite boards, because they're thinner, it seems like they razor tail just a little bit faster. I will say the pop you get from this deck is very nice. When you do pop, it's like pow. So that's what's up. One thing I will say about this board, the 13.88 wheelbase is really short, and it takes a bit of getting used to, just because I feel like it's a little bit small. As you can see, the 875 trucks, they're like flush almost. Well, not really. It sits to the side. When you look at it like this, you can't see the wheels, but as soon as you look over, you can see the wheels. So I do want to test how this board skates with 8.5 lockers. So I'm going to be testing that. On here we got the 8.5 trucks. It seems to fit it just a little bit better. It's definitely designed for 8.5 trucks, but I definitely prefer the 8.75 trucks. I don't know. Testing that. Besides that, it's definitely a good board for slappies. I like doing a lot of slappies, and this board, slappies, very nice. Especially for crooks and nose and tail slides, really nice. One thing I noticed, I feel like it skated better with a little bit smaller wheels. This board has like the best shape Powell's ever made for popsicle decks, in my opinion. I just don't know if it's perfect for me, is one thing.
time I get like...
Shout out to the Little Caesars boys. Alright, you guys, to finish up the review, I really enjoyed this shape. It is pretty worn out. It's getting there. I did put the 875 trucks back on it because I think I like the way the 875 trucks skated a little bit better. Also, in general with this board, it is a bit small for my liking. 842 is kind of on the small side for me, but I was just watching one of Dan's videos. Since all the feedback on his board, everybody's wishing it was a little bit bigger, I guess. It's gonna make like a 8.8 version or something like that. I'd be interested to give that one a go, but this one, maybe the more tech version. Overall, if you were thinking about trying this shape, just know it's really square. Even the rounded one's pretty square. That's one thing I find after looking at other shapes after skating this deck. It's like every deck looks like it has a super tapered tail, because these are so square. They're like beyond FA in hockey. Overall, Peralta did a really good job on this deck. Also, Dan Corrigan did a really good job designing this shape. It's really thought out. Not only is it a flight deck, it has a lot of uses for this shape. And it definitely takes some getting used to because it's so unique. But I like that from a deck. Nice, useful deck. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Use code ERIC10 at grindking.com at checkout. Catch you in the next one.